And we are live. Survivor 44, we're doing live streams a couple times. One at the very start, one in the middle, a couple at the very end, bringing all your favorite Survivor YouTubers together. And as always, we got my co host, Flynn Masters. Flynn, how's it going?
What's going on, Russ? Happy to be here as usual. Like I said, happy to be talking about Survivor again. Say what you will about the season, but again, having Survivor on is always fun. And yeah, happy to be here again, and some other guests to join us.
Are you still enjoying Survivor with all the Hell's Kitchen content you're doing over there on your own channel?
I don't know. I mean, I'll talk about this earlier. I have kind of wondered if, me being so focused on Hell's Kitchen is kind of like maybe like not enjoy Survivor as much. So I don't know. It has been interesting though to be like an HK YouTuber and go back with Survivor and whatnot, especially doing these podcasts. So it has been interesting.
And we got the Survivor Scholars, been doing these things since Survivor Cambodia, Survivor Second Chances, and they recently made a video on my Survivor Fire Puzzle. How's it going, Rachel and Alyssa?
Yeah, what's up? Hey, hello, everyone. We're so excited to be back here talking with you all. Excited to talk season 44 of Survivor US.
Yeah, and excited to keep doing fire puzzles. I still have the fire puzzle in my house, Russell, to make everyone in my family do it next time they all come home. So
you got to beat your time. Not gonna lie, that was a little slow for the first attempt there. I'm hoping you can improve that time.
It's because we were filming.
It's just panic. All the eyes. Anyways, we also have Chris, the Nullified Take here, the living legend. How's it going?
Hey, good. I'm kind of the gargoyle of Survivor. I watch over all of the different international versions of the show, Survivor South Africa, Australian Survivor. Now we're talking Survivor 44. I'm happy to be here and also to, for the very first time, meet both the Survivor scholars, Alyssa and Rachel.
So you just finished doing a podcast yourself, a live stream on the challenge. I hope you're not too burnt out as we're going to be tackling everything regarding the Survivor 44 pre-merge. New era
this is what's
Survivor.
Keeping me going. Musashi energy at the moment, so
I got some prime energy myself, so
I got water.
That. Water's good.
So I should be fine.
Everyone in the chat, make sure you're hanging out, chatting this whole time. We got a bunch of people here. Jay, hello. We got one of my swimmers. Hey, coach. How's it going, Golden Gamer? I just got back from swim practice, so they should all be getting to sleep soon. Anyways, Survivor 44, the new era. We got 4 seasons so far. We got 41, 42, 43, 44. I'm going to start with you, Flynn. How are you liking this pre-merge compared to some of the other pre-merges we've seen in this new era?
I don't know. It just feels so the same. I mean, I know I beat the dead horse with everyone else is saying, but it just feels so the same, especially compared to last year. I mean, say what you will about all the women going, being the first 4 boots, but it's just like, again, you do wonder if that is because of this new 3-tribe format. And that's the thing. I'm so sick of this 3-tribe format. And it wasn't even a tribe swap. It was like, hey, you're going to that tribe with a freaking idol. That's, only good for of course you're going to play it. Like, what idiot wouldn't play that, So I know Jeff really hyped up this pre-merge, so maybe that's another thing too. It was so hyped, and maybe I'm kind of let down because obviously the first tribal council, iconic, one of probably the best, if not the best, first tribal council ever. But these next, not only is it sucks to see all the women go home, but it's also the tribals themselves aren't that interesting too. This best episode honestly has been this medevac episode. It's how's that happen? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm kind of well, I don't even know if I'm underwhelmed. I'm because that's another thing too. We all know not to trust Jeff Probst's opinions, but it's I'm still kind of whelmed in a way.
And can I just add to this? You bring up a valid point because, last season people were coming to my channel and they were saying, this new format does not suit women. And they're all going one after the other. And I was like, it's a little bit early to say that. We've just had 2 women win the game. But now it's 2 seasons in a row where we've seen a lot of women go back to back to back. And these are young, strategic women. So, Rachel, if you go on there, or Alyssa, you go on there to play the game, you're like a dying breed in this new format of the game.
Yeah, we should not apply now because Maddie 28, Helen 29, Claire 25, Sarah 27, not good for some middle, late 20s women on the show. And I feel like between 41 and 42, 43, 44, the main difference for these pre-merges is 41, 42, they didn't know there wasn't going to be any tribe swap. You're the same 3 tribes till merge. But now for 43 and 44, everyone probably thinks or knows, okay, we're going to stay in these 3 tribes, no tribe swap, or like Flynn says, this 1-person tribe swap this season. So it's more, okay, we can focus on tribe strength. So we should be focusing on that because we're going to be stuck with these people until the merge or the fake merge. So we might as well vote out the quote weaker physical people. So I feel like that's a big difference.
And I think also one thing Chris mentioned, like the having 2 women winners, I feel like Erica is still one of the more controversial winners in Survivor history. So even the fact that like we have women winners in this new era, it's kind of like, does it really count if all of the casuals are like hashtag Xander was robbed? So
Xander was robbed. Yeah, bring up a good point. I'm really hoping we can get to some 2 tribes back for the next season. The only issue, when you crunch the numbers a little bit, like 26 days, you kind of need to have under 20 players. So 2 tribes. Are you going to have a 16-player cast? Because if you're going 18 with 2 tribes, it's going to be odd numbered tribes, guys and girls, right? So then how are you going to plan that out? So I think I saw in an interview or one of Jeff Probst's podcasts, he's saying one of the reasons is because the 26-day format, you got to have 20 players is too much, right? And I just hope something's got to give. We can't do this over and over and over again. 3 tribes. Okay, let's go to the sanctuary. Let's go on a journey. Same thing over and over and over. How are you guys liking the journey?
Just before you move on
Yeah.
from that, because I want to address the 26 days. I hate it. No super fan likes it. Nobody that's online likes 26 days.
As an international guy, though, your Survivor seasons are a different number of days. Does the number of days matter?
Well, no, definitely. When you look at Australian Survivor, it's 48 days or something like that. So it's by far the one that's the longest. And that is due to scheduling. That is due to the fact that they've got bigger casts. But if you look at Survivor South Africa, it's the traditional 39 days. That's why I think Survivor South Africa is a love letter to people who've watched the show for a very long time that like Survivor at its purest. Now, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have advantages or idols or a trip to an island that gives you a way to play the game, but it stays the closest to that. Why I bring up the 26 days? Because clearly I still love the show enough to watch it. I'm still talking about it, and I will continue to talk about it until the wheels come off, right? But using 26 days as an excuse for why we can't go back to 2 tribes, using something that you changed in the game that no one appreciates, Jeff is like playing the smallest violin at the moment for me, like out there. I don't care, Jeff. Like, Jeff's idea at this point of keeping people on their toes is not to actually do things like a swap, have more players in there. It is throwing more toys into the game for people to deal with, or changing the rules mid-season to what the journey to No Name Island means. So there's no way for the people out there to actually it doesn't promote great gameplay, is what I'm trying to get at. We've got a player who just played Australian Survivor that a lot of people think is one of the best players to ever play the game. A lot of people want that player to play the US. I think they go out there and struggle because they can't game the game within the game because the rules change from one episode to the next. And that's my problem with it. Like,
it's all luck.
Yeah. And I don't appreciate it. It takes away from good gamemanship. So I know I sound really heated and I sound very low on it, but it comes from a good place. It comes from a place that I love this show and I want the show to do well.
Someone's got to clip that and post that somewhere. That was an awesome.
I was gonna say, damn.
It was the problem with this current version of Survivor we got, and that's why I kind of titled this live stream, "Will It Fail? Survivor 44." Like, the players are good. Let the players play. I think this episode we just had was my favorite episode of the season. Sure, we like the tribal council. We didn't have that. We didn't have someone go home. It sucks how Matthew left, but we had so many awesome player interactions. We went to the journey. There was no advantages on the journey, but we still had Survivor gamifying it with when they come back to their camp, the players that are on their tribes are like, oh, you for sure got something. So you have that fun interaction. It's just without here's a free idol. That was complete bullshit. I hated that part of it.
Yeah.
When you have to earn the merge, when you have to, earn the right to your flint so you can have fire at camp. It's just like we pick and choose when you have to earn it.
Are you
and when
sweater
you're
or
given
are you
it.
savvy? Yeah, we'll be talking about it a little later, but I had to make notes on, okay, who's got no vote? Who's got a fake made idol? Blah, blah, blah. All this stuff for us because I was so confused. I had to double check my notes, the Survivor wiki. It's a lot. It's a lot.
There's
Comment,
less
chat.
players currently in the game, Russell. There's less players currently in the game that doesn't have a fake idol or an advantage than those that do. If that doesn't tell you it's broken, I don't know what is. Like, it's like Jeff is trying to get Advantage Geddon 2.0. He wants it so badly.
And I think
I mean-
Jeff
Go ahead.
No, yeah, Jeff in interviews has said like he wants the show to be more TV moments. So how do you get more TV moments? Let's put more advantages in, which is like what we're all saying, completely backwards. The TV moment comes naturally from the players. Oh, they have one idol, can they use it? Or they're going to split their votes in a savvy way to eliminate someone, not from, oh, 4 people having idols, 2 people having fake idols, and then like 4 shot in the darks being played. Like those TV moments, just sure they're jaw dropping, but it just feels so fabricated because it's fake, because it's in additions being added to the game that we don't need to have those TV moments. We can have those TV moments naturally.
Well,
I
we had
feel
two
like
players. We had 2 players create fake idols this season, right? And it wasn't needed to throw that in there.
Why do we need the birdcage? Why do we need Jeff to make these fake idols when the players are doing it themselves? Like, okay. Yeah, chat. This is going to be a good stream. I already can tell. Before we get carried away too much with this, at the end of the stream, we're doing a giveaway. I'm giving away one of the puzzles here, the Haberdashers. You can make a square and a triangle out of it. So hang out later. We'll be telling you how you can win that. Okay, we're moving on. We'll talk more about advantages.
Take a breath.
Bullshit Jeff's throwing about this later. Let's talk about Bruce. Old school. Let's talk about Bruce for a little bit. Bruce is going to be coming back into the game. That's like in a future season. He's has a shot if he ever wants to come back. Is he going to do well in a future season? Do we want Bruce to come back?
100% we want him to come back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like we definitely want him to come back because I feel like the way he went out was just. Firstly, I was furious at Jeff, and it's not the first and only time I was angry at Jeff this season. But I was really not happy when he made Bruce decide after injuring himself if he should continue in the game. It's like I'm a big rugby fan, which is kind of like American football for those that are in America. And when you get a head knock or you get a concussion, the doctor makes the call. You don't see the doctor going or the ref going to the player saying, hey, you just got concussed or you don't look like you're right. Are you okay to play? Like you need to make medical immediately step in and to make that decision on his behalf. Luckily for Bruce, it worked out all right. Luckily, he's okay now, but it could have been catastrophic for him to continue on in the game and continue on pushing in that challenge. So I wasn't happy with how that was dealt with. I get it. Sometimes he's going to get things right. Sometimes he's not going to get things right. But in the future, let's be a little bit more careful with players' safety when they're out there doing these challenges, moving on. But Bruce, came into the show as a massive fan. He's someone that came across as a leadership type of figure. I feel like we would pour it off for not seeing him. And there was something about him in his preseason package that I really gravitated towards. He seemed really charismatic. So I think he's a great TV character. And will he do well? You bet you he'll be doing well because everybody's sliding into his DMs right now and making alliances because they know he's the only one guaranteed to go out there and play again.
Yeah, future season. Phil, I think Flynn Masters, you said it in one of the chats. I think it was in Chris, your live stream the other night with Peridium. Philippines 2.0, right? We got Matthew, we got Bruce here.
Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
if
sure.
they're going to stick with 3 tribes, hey, let's do Philippines 2.0. Perfect time for it.
Yeah. No, in the future. Let's give it a little bit of time. Let's go to 2 tribes first. We don't need that right away.
Yeah, well, like I say, if they are going to do 3 tribes, if they're sticking with it, hey, stick with it.
Another little fun fact, we haven't had a male voted out of the game since Cody last season because obviously Matthew was medevac, quit technically from the wiki. No, he didn't quit. And then we had Bruce here. The last time a male was voted out was last season. We're now at the merge. This is the first time in Survivor history. I'm pretty sure a man hasn't been voted out in the pre-merge of the season or in the merge, whatever. We got Maddie next. Maddie, obviously a super fan. She quit her job to come out here to play Survivor. Did we like what we see here? Did she deserve to be going out how she did? Could she have done anything differently? Rachel, what do you think?
Oh, this is an interesting one. I feel like from the show, we saw like, okay, Maddie is working things. She was able to technically flip everyone to get Brandon's to go home if Brandon played the idol. But I feel like postseason, from like Maddie's postseason interviews, I don't know. She's got like a lot of personality in those interviews, very big-headed. So it's like maybe that kind of personality came across on the island where she's describing herself as the alpha, butting heads with other alphas. So maybe that could have rubbed people the wrong way. I feel like if you were out there with her and someone's saying that they're the alpha and they're trying to like one up you on everything, might be a little bit of a target on your back. But I feel like for the couple days that she was there, she seemingly did a good job based off of the edit that we saw, but I feel like I wouldn't necessarily care to see her come back and play a second time.
Yeah, I feel like we need to take any like postseason content, those exit press with a grain of salt. Like it's not true canon. Like anyone can say anything in those exit interviews to make their side of the story sound better. But you're absolutely right. Her exit stuff, she sounds so exciting, so fresh, not fully what we got in the edit in the episode she was in. And then we go next. Wow. Another that one's right in the middle. Sorry, Flynn. I messed up for there. I'm gonna take that away. We got Helen. Helen on the Tika tribe, my favorite tribe this season so far, obviously. Alyssa, what are your thoughts on Helen? Good player. Anything she could have done differently? Blocking Flynn there.
I feel like one of the things about Helen is that when she got voted out, she like totally erased herself from my memory. Like the only reason I even remember who Helen is because you have that like picture of her. And I don't know, I feel like not to bring this back to advantages sucking, but one of the reasons that I feel like these first couple of votes were really difficult is because so many players didn't have their vote for these crucial first votes of these tribal councils. So I feel like the one thing that Helen could have had differently is have everyone on your tribe have a vote, maybe, Helen. So totally your fault for, you know, not making sure everyone has a vote. But
yeah, I think we're missing. Like, listen, Helen and Sarah. I'm going to be quite passionate about both of them because I think that they both had the makings of being great players, and they got taken out too early, and it really hurt me because Helen was one of my draft picks for the season, and I think that Helen kind of missed the boat on Carson. Carson's the reason why she's out of the game because he is this kid that everybody looks at and they're like, oh, he looks so innocent and cute. And, you know, he's not a threat to anyone. And Helen underestimated her connection with him. She underestimated how she came across when she spoke to Carson, and Carson thought she had the idol. So the birdcage was her downfall because, you know, Carson said, I can't trust her. She clearly has it. He's read these books on deception and how to tell when somebody's lying to him. Clearly it didn't work. He needs to go back to school. But, you know, Helen really got screwed by the twist in some ways, and the fact that it was a small tribe. And they looked at it and they're like, okay, well, we've got to choose between Helen and Carolyn. But Yam Yam apparently is the strong person in that tribe they wanted to keep, again, because of a smaller tribe. So Carson was like, well, if I vote Carolyn out, Yam Yam is going to be a loose unit moving forward in the game. He could go anywhere. So I'd rather want to keep Carolyn safe because they're close, and I'll rather be with the stronger side because Yam Yam is perceived as one of these great assets in the tribe. And he ended up betraying that young person alliance. And that's another question for me. It's like, I'm really curious to know, why does the young person alliance not work out these days anymore? It doesn't seem like young people in the game can stick together, and it's always the older, you know, folks that they get one over them.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. They're all going to the game fresh to play. They want to prove themselves, I guess. Yeah,
I thought she had promise.
Yeah, the one player in this group I really, really hope we get to see again. Just based on her Twitter alone, Claire. I love Claire's Twitter. It's super awesome. Any fourth boot seasons, Claire will be on there for sure if we ever do that. Just the little stuff like that. Episode 1, talking on the sit-out bench, being the back-to-back-to-back sit-out bench. Definitely a personality there, had spunk. I just got voted out. What do you think, Flynn?
I mean, yeah. She didn't really have much Survivor experience. She didn't compete in any challenges, nor did she vote. Yeah. You know, she was there, target the showmance didn't work, and got voted out. So, I mean, I don't need to see her again. I mean, it would be kind of fun to see her again to see what she can do challenge-wise. It'd be hilarious. She's a beast, and she didn't realize it. See if she votes for her. So, but I mean, as far as 44 goes, I mean, yeah, she literally was a non-entity. So,
I think on Claire's Instagram, she's pushing tons of weights. Yeah, so she's strong.
It made no sense. And then we kind of grouped in Sarah along with Helen there. Again, just kind of screwed over on that tribe with that dynamic.
I just want to say Sarah did well, though. She did well to try and ingratiate herself back with that group after Helen was voted out. And the fact that Yam Yam moved from Carolyn to Sarah being his closest ally when Carson went, to me was quite interesting. He was willing to sacrifice Carolyn above Sarah, and that showed some great gameplay from Sarah to be able to do it. I felt gutted for Sarah when she got the fake idol and she was so excited. I was like, this is not fun to watch, because she's a super fan, or I think she's a fan going out there playing the game, and I think she's got game. Sarah's probably the person for me from the pre-merge I would like to see come back the most, even more so than Claire, because Sarah tried to play the game. She put her heart and soul into the game, where Claire sat back and hoped that they weren't going to look her way. So I felt gutted for Sarah leaving. So bring back the Wades, Clash of the Wades. We want to see Coach
Team
and
captain
Sarah.
season.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my question is, though, when Josh plays his idol, even though it's a fake idol, it wouldn't have gone into anything. Why doesn't Sarah play that idol there?
Yeah, well, it's even more interesting because Sarah had the inheritance advantage, right? So she could have she could have played the inheritance advantage, played an idol that she thought was an idol, and gotten it back. It would have been a boomerang. And she, in that spot, she completely misread the situation, because I don't know how you can be that sure of yourself in a 4-person vote when one person's playing an idol and not play the idol. So it was definitely a misread on her. She should have played it, even if it would have looked bad, her playing a fake idol. It would have looked worse on production than her, in my mind.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And then lastly, we got Buddy Matthew. I don't like what production did with him here, right? Made him, and the edit they gave him going back and forth. And if you guys have seen the exit press, he was really, really beat up, the shoulder everywhere, some broken stuff. He had to have multiple surgeries. He's doing a little better now, but I think this is one spot where they messed up, and they should have pulled him earlier, and they should have pulled him and not had to be one of these quits. I don't count it as a quit. Do we want to have Matthew invited back into the game like Bruce, or is he just goodbye?
I mean,
I've got strong opinions about this one. Matthew's got to come back. He's got to come back. The guy is an innovative player. We need innovative players.
The shot in the dark, using it a different way, right? We got to remember that. He used his shot in the dark not as a safety net. He knew he was going to be safe. He knew where all the votes were going. But if he exposed his alliances where he was going to vote, that puts him in a worse spot in his tribe. So he uses the shot in the dark in such an innovative way that I didn't understand it when I did my episode 1 recap, but it's such a brilliant idea. It makes perfect sense. You use that shot in the dark, use it. It doesn't matter if he's safe or not, just so he doesn't have to vote. And that way everyone still trusts him. He's the number one guy, whatever. Turns out he was actually super close with Kane. The edit didn't really show that. The finding the idol, the fake one with Jamie, everything about this guy, Chris, you're absolutely right. This is someone this guy's
a superstar. This guy is a freaking superstar he got injured, right? And I'm sorry for taking over. I definitely want Rachel and Alyssa to give their opinion about this as well, because I feel like I'm throwing a lot of my opinions out there. But, Matthew, to me, there's every now and again you find someone that is an all-rounder. The reason Tony Vlachos is my favorite player is because he's an all-rounder. He's great entertainment. He's good at confessionals. He's great at challenges. He's good at doing the strategy side of things. He hustles like no one else's business. He just doesn't sit still. And Matthew, to me, is that kind of player where we see him find an idol, go and hide a fake idol that he creates himself. He leads Jamie to that idol to go and find it so that he's there when she finds it, so he can create this fake bond and alliance based on it. There's so many things that he was doing that was just thinking outside of the box. And I hear you on saying production should have pulled him earlier, but production has a case study of someone doing the same thing to their shoulder and then going to the end and winning it. So, when they saw Tyson do it, they probably thought maybe Matthew could go down the same road. And sadly, it didn't work out. But I would personally be gutted if we don't see, and I don't look at this as a quit whatsoever. When you've got a medical injury and you're not eating correctly and you're not allowing your body to recover, none of us would have stayed there. If we were in the same pain, it's hard. We can't talk to his pain tolerance, but for me, it's he wasn't in the right place to recover. With the way that the Survivor show works now, they don't even get the basic rice necessities at camp. This is not the type of place for you to recover.
The hardest season in Survivor history.
Sorry, Alyssa and Rachel, I'm really interested to know your thoughts on Matthew. What do you guys think of him? Am I completely off on my own thing here? Because I feel passionate about Matthew. I feel like he's a great character.
I feel like for me, the thing about Matthew is like I wouldn't necessarily put him in the same category as Bruce because his injury wasn't something that resulted directly from playing the game. Matthew didn't have to go like climb that rock and then fall back, dislocate his shoulder. And like obviously I don't think that he should count as a quit because he did get injured and he should have been pulled from the game, in my opinion. But I think that like putting him and Bruce in the same category is a little bit different because it wasn't production failed to keep Matthew safe. It was Matthew failed to keep Matthew safe. And like, honestly, like the fact that he was willing to go and like climb on these huge rocks, knowing the risk is like one of the things I like about his personality and him as a player. But at the same time, I'm a little more leery about like giving him an immediate invitation back because like, hopefully he did learn something from that mistake, but also I feel like it's one of those things where there are other people who I would also like to see invited back who maybe like weren't the orchestrators of their own demise, so to speak.
That's a very good point. And, I kind of brought this up on my recap this week with Peridium, and I said that he's kind of like the Cody of the season. Cody just didn't get injured, but Cody did the same crazy stuff out there as well, and we loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope we see Matthew again. Like he seemed from the edit to be like the nexus of that tribe. He was seemingly good with everyone, finding all of these idols. And then we even saw him and Carson bonding when Carson got tribe swapped onto there. So it's really, I guess, interesting that we saw so much of that relationship. And then people are maybe speculating, oh, Matthew, did he give his idol to Carson? Could he have given his idol away before he left the game? And that's why we were seeing so much of the Carson-Matthew relationship. But I also agree, I don't think you can like fault Matthew for leaving the game because of this injury. If like you shouldn't trade having a lifelong pain or having a lifelong shoulder damage for this game of Survivor. It's not worth it to be constantly in pain. Like you should leave to go and get that checked out.
Yeah, and going from medical injuries just to more medical stuff, I want to have a brief, like, little discussion here on the medical stuff this season. Now, again, I don't watch International Survivor, so one of you will have to help me out with the rules here. But I think I read somewhere that in some international, you can leave the game, is it for 24 hours, 48 hours, and then come back afterwards? Am I off there? Is that a thing?
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So Australian Survivor, not Survivor South Africa, as far as I'm aware. I haven't seen it in Survivor South Africa, but in Australian Survivor, you can leave, I believe, between 24 and 48 hours and still come back into the game. And it has resulted.
Is the fan base okay with this?
It's divided. So the fan base in Australia is very different to the international Survivor fan base, and I think most of them accept it, and they accept non-eliminations and some other types of twists that Australian Survivor bring in a lot more than the old school Survivor fans. I feel like fans like us who have watched the original show probably believe that if you're injured, you're out of the game. But if they did that in this latest season of Australian Survivor, it would not have been one of the best seasons that we've ever seen. It would have tanked. So there is an argument that, maybe Matthew makes the season better when they bring him back, but also there's a lot more game to be played in Australian Survivor. You've got 47 days. So it's not like, in a 26-day game, if you take Matthew out of the game for 48 hours and he survives 2 votes or a vote, I think it's too overpowered in this shorter version of Survivor.
Yeah, makes sense. Because I was just wondering, if obviously Matthew, he has multiple surgeries, everything here, but if we're able to figure that out, maybe get on some medication, come back into the game. But you're completely right there. The 26 days kind of hurts that rule. It was more just me wondering what the fan base kind of feels about this, because as an outsider looking into Australian Survivor, I'm like, this isn't, when you're out, right? You can maybe come back to a future season. What I want to go back to now, guys, is winner picks, covering Flynn's face again. Chat, I want to get you involved as well. So I myself have made some top contenders as well as a winner pick. I tried to pick one person from all these tribes as my top contenders and then picked one overall for my winner. So I'll give my co-host here a few seconds to think about who their top contenders and winner are. Chat, get along with it as well. I want to see who your winner picks are. Mine, personally, I got to go with, for one of them, it's going to be super obvious if you've been following me for any period of time. Canadian. Right now we're 2 for 2, so we have to do it. I don't think Kane wins at all. But Kane is the Canadian, so he kind of has to win the season. That's why he's on this list for me.
You don't
I
mark
also-
him down because he didn't know the Canadian anthem? You don't mark him down for that at all?
And my other top contenders, mostly because I'm having so much fun watching him, and we can talk about this in a little bit, is Danny. I'm having so much fun seeing Danny bro out on the island. And then just because of how the new era of Survivor's working, I think my overall winner pick seems like the most new era Survivor type winner is Carolyn. I think Carolyn has a really good chance now that we're into the earn the merge category. She has a chance to be going far and win the game. I'll start with you, Flynn. Who is your contenders and winner overall?
Yeah, like I said, I think this season we're not going to get anything under. Not like I said, after last season, I don't take the pre-merge Edgic with a grain of salt at all after what happened with Gabler, obviously. But I will say though, I think one of the reasons why they have hyped the season so up is because they got a winner that they absolutely loved. And so I do think we actually might see again like a Carolyn, probably someone from Tika, if not maybe like a Josh. But yeah, the Carolyn, Jam, the Carsons of the world, maybe even Josh. Now he's going to start. Maybe like a Gable and really rise up. I think those are my top four contenders. The big characters of the season are gonna. One of those four are gonna win. That's why production loves the season so much.
It's a good point because I was going to say no chance Carolyn wins because she doesn't fit the bill of a current Survivor season winner because it's normally the person you don't expect to win that wins in the new age. And Carolyn is too obvious for me. So I feel like she's a fallen angel, but she's going to be a fan favorite this season. But you bring up a good point. You now have me doubting myself because you said Jeff loves this season so much. Maybe Carolyn does end up winning because by far she's getting the best edit so far, I think, in the show.
I think
Best
Jeff
edit,
loves
but
this
also a messy
season.
edit.
Yeah, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, Jeff loves this season so much. My theory is because Franny's
bro.
going to win, and because Franny's the now the woman Boston Rob, and Jeff loves a showmance, so that's why he's hyping it up so much.
That's a good theory. I like
They're
that.
going to get
Okay.
engaged at the
I was gonna say,
reunion.
Matt and Franny
At the after
engagement.
show?
Yeah,
Can-
right on the island. Matt will get
Can
a
I
ring
just
at
say-
Ponderosa.
Can I just say, if Freddie is the Boston Rob of this era, wouldn't that mean that Matt's going to win because Matt is his Amber or her Amber going into the final, and we get the Matt win?
Maybe.
People
No, this is
only
Redemption
voted for
Island.
Amber on some level because they didn't like Boston Rob. So maybe if Franny's more likable than Rob was.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's a fair take.
I think for me personally, the player I think I'm the most impressed with so far, but they may win or this could count against them because I can also see Mike Turner within this player, and that is Carson. I think Carson has got a very good shot, but the problem with Carson is because he's this likable kid that everybody trusts and they just invite him in to their alliance. He's got, like I kind of said, like he is Tom Holland. He's got his webs weaved with all of these connections in the game that he's working with. And, the problem is when you get to the end game, if you're building these deep connections, Mike Turner learned that it turns against you if you had to cut them down the road. So that could be Carson's biggest flaw at the end because he's building these great connections with people. But I do think he's playing a great game because the players who actually noticed that he's a threat were the players that are gone. Like Sarah noticed that she's gone. Like she's no longer in the game. And I think that moving into the merge, you're going to see the nerdy group come together against the bro squad. That's what we're seeing right now. Carolyn is going to gravitate towards Yam Yam. Again, Yam Yam and Carson and Carolyn. Carson is the glue that holds the three of them together. So getting them together with Kane in there and then potentially Franny and Matt coming over, that is my prediction because Franny and Matt's going to find a home with those players more so than with the bro squad. And let's not forget that Danny outed Matt on the Idol. And that's not, if I was playing the game, I'd be pissed and I would not forgive Danny for that. So at some point, he's going to jump. And I think that's how I see the game playing out. It's going to be one of the nerd squad. I think that's going to win. It's not going to be the bro squad. Like we saw the poor gameplay from them for a reason in this last episode.
Yeah.
And I was living for it.
So good. So good. Alyssa.
Yeah, so I guess I have no real strong winner picks. I think everything y'all have already said about, winner possibilities is definitely true. I've been following Survivor Edgic, which has been kind of notoriously bad the past couple of seasons because, Edgic is difficult and most Edgic seems to only work in hindsight. But anyways, one of the things that like Survivor Edgic is really big on is mat chats. So who does Jeff Probst talk to on the mat in the first episode? And this season, only 3 people were talked to on the mat. It was Matthew, Yam Yam, and Franny. So based on mat chats alone, I have to say either Franny or Yam Yam is the winner. So I guess no one else has said Yam Yam, so I'll say him.
Alyssa, did you not hear the winner's edit doesn't exist? It's a myth.
That's bullshit.
Well, no,
No
but
winner's edit.
I think Jeff's perception of what a winner's edit is different from the fans who analyze the show. I think in his mind, he's thinking that they give a better edit to the winner, which he's like, no, we don't give a better edit to the winner.
Oh, okay.
Where we look at little subtleties that give us hints as to why someone could potentially win the game.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
I was going to say, if there's no difference between a winner's edit and everyone else's edit, then like, why even bother editing the show? Because
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
it's a story, right? There's got to be some edit there. What are we even doing here? That makes no sense. Let's do the giveaway, guys. Time to put in those votes. Let me share my screen real quick. Present, share screen, window, boom, giveaway tool. Look at that. Keyword. Let's make the keyword. What do we want the keyword to be? Someone give me something. Someone. Anything.
Merge.
Amber.
Amber. Okay. Capital AMBER. Start collecting. Boom. Comment Amber in the chat, and you'll be entered to win this Haberdashers puzzle. It's 4 pieces. You can solve it in a triangle and then in a square. It was in Survivor 43, episode 4. So comment Amber. We'll get back to that at the very, very end of the stream. Boom. Close that off. Cool. Now let's go back to the real fun discussion that we've been having this whole time. Advantages. What we like about them. They're disgusting. Let's start with the new one. The big promise of this new season of Survivor, the Idol Cage. Going into the season, I was actually really excited. I was high up on the Idol Cage myself. This is fun, open in plain sight. That way we won't have these scavenger hunts throughout the episodes, not wasting time with that. We've seen it so many times. Instead, it's in plain sight. You'll have to maneuver it in different ways. People were sneaky with it. I loved what Carolyn did with the X. I love what Danny did putting it back in. Brandon's was a little disappointing, but that was episode 1, so it doesn't matter as much. But in hindsight, at this pre-merge, I don't like the idea of the producers putting fake idols themselves into the show. That's my thought personally. I think it's a little too overpowered. I don't like how that came across. We'll start with you, Chris. I feel like you're going to have something to say about the Idol Cage.
I'm not promised.
Really?
Chris has an opinion?
I've got no opinion about that. Now, listen,
Okay.
I was the exact opposite, Russell Muscle, to you coming into this. I was like, Idol Cage, what's this dumb twist coming into the game? And I've loved it. I actually think this is one of the twists so far that have worked out predominantly well. It's not game breaking, and it creates a lot of interesting dynamics around it. Like, for instance, how would each tribe approach the Idol Cage? Would they look together for the key? Would they not look for it at all? Would one person find it and successfully open it without anybody knowing and replace the fake idol back into it? I actually think that we got some great TV moments from it. I mean, who would forget Carolyn going there, finding it, grabbing it, leaving the cage open, running back to camp to then realize she has to run back and close the cage and put something back in it. Like, that was amazing TV for me. And the fact that no one expects that she's got it, with her being so sporadic in the game. I don't think the Idol Cage breaks the game in any way. I think it creates interesting dynamics around it. And guess what? The key itself is not this big colored, easy to find satchel with an idol in it, like in the tribe colors. Like, I mean, what are we doing? Like, why have we made it so easy for people to find idols? Why are we giving idols away? At least they had to earn this in the way that they found it. I don't think you can do it for a second season in a row. I'm not advocating for the Idol Cage to come back next season, but for this season, I've been okay with it. Like, I mean, there's worse things that they've done in this very same season than the Idol Cage in my mind.
So you're high on this. Wow. I'm
Yeah.
actually very, very surprised on that. I I need to personally apologize to Carolyn for in whatever episode it was. I thought that she mixed up the fake and real idol. I'm sorry about that. She's getting a little bit of heat on Twitter, and every single one of my videos, people are like, "No, Carolyn thinks the fake idol's real," and vice versa. No, it's different on every camp. One tribe's real idol is the other tribe's fake idol, which might get kind of interesting when we get into this merge. That's why that whole confusion was. There's one coin. There's 3 different versions, and one real is the other fake, which is cool.
I don't like the fakes. I should just add to it. I like the idol cage and the idol being in there. The fakes is just that's again Jeff just trying to do too much. He's just gone that step too far. Like I've said in my podcast as well. Let's introduce one interesting dynamic to the game each season, maybe 2. Let's not do 10 things every season. And now that you can't trust Exactly. Now that you can't trust that the idol that someone has is real, even when they come to you and they're like, "Hey, I'm at the bottom. Here's my idol. Let's align together and work in this game together." You don't even know if you can trust that person in the game anymore because they now look like professionally production-made idols in the game, and I'm not a fan of that.
I agree. I'm like, these fake production idols really suck. Players are making their own fake idols. You don't need to put that as a game mechanic into the game because people will make it on their own and make beads together or use the paint from the flags and stuff like that. You don't need production putting it in there. And like, I could see it ruining some really cool moves in the future if, like, say Matt wanted to use it, him and Franny or the Nerd Alliance wanted to use it, but oops, you know, he has a fake idol and they try to play it to vote out someone from the Bro Alliance, but there's this fake. So they sort of get bamboozled and maybe they lose a number because of that. But Matt has no way of knowing that his idol is fake. All the people that have the fake idols have no way of verifying or knowing that it's fake or not. So it sort of sucks for them that they're gonna get bamboozled because what they think is real is actually fake, but there's no way to even fact check or verify that it's real or fake.
I want to bring up, there's someone in the comments here, Cork Souls, says that that's going to make people more afraid to play. That's the problem that you have when you throw so many things that is not controllable into the game, and it's like there are these hamsters on a wheel that's getting like spun around. Like you just want to focus on the things that's within your control. So not getting on a boat next season because you know you're definitely not going to automatically lose your vote, that might be the move next season, not to get on that boat to go on the journey, because you know if you go there you might lose 2 votes like Matt.
I think, and Jeff's initial thought process with this was, we're going to put more stuff into the game. It'll speed the game up, right? This new era, the 26 days. But you're exactly right. Putting all this stuff into the game kind of makes it where you got to be as safe as possible. Slow things down. Why risk it when you don't know what else is going on, right? So play low and kind of these lamb to lion. Why way back when we were kind of like, I was personally criticizing Erica's game a little bit, the laying low, it was more also due to the edit, but it's because if you're going too hard, at one point the lottery is going to tick and you're going to be out. Where in normal Survivor, old school, whatever, the old school Survivor, if you're playing the game well, I think of it like a Tony Vlachos, that's the most extreme example of it. If you're playing the game really, really well, you can maneuver through these things. But I would hate to see plopping, say we get a new school era version of Tony, get a player playing the game super, super hard, put him into Survivor season 45, but then a random stupid advantage throws him out of the game, right? That's kind of the issue here. Let the players play. Don't have these advantages, these trinkets, these random new rules every episode be the reason the players get screwed out. That's my big issue. Sorry on that rant.
It's good. Join the club.
Yeah, I'm not used to these live streams.
This is like a therapy session. We're all just getting it out, so we're gonna feel better going into next week when we watch episode 6. Okay?
Yeah,
I don't know.
merch.
I feel like I've already talked about how much I hate these advantages, and like every time someone brings it up again, I get angry anew. So I feel like you're not gonna feel better after getting it all out, because the next time you're gonna have more fodder, because you're gonna remember everything that we talked about, and it's gonna be awful.
And I think to speak on like playing it safe, like you were talking about, Russell. Now people are expecting, oh, a fake merge is going to happen, so let's play it safe. We just have to get to the fake merge, and maybe at final 10 there's going to be 2 teams of 5. Let's just make it there. Final 8 there's going to be some twist, whether it's do or die or some other random twist. So it's like those critical moments, 10, 8, 7, you should have regular votes, because if people are gaming the system to plan for 2 teams of 5 at 10 or some twist at 8, you're sort of stifling the gameplay, because people are going to plan around certain specific tribal councils they think are going to happen.
Just for a little advantage recap, I took some notes to make sure, because chat, there's a lot here. The idols, real. We got Carolyn, we got Danny. Idols that are now gone. We got Brandon playing his idol, obviously, episode 1, saved himself, great tribal. I want to talk about that a little more. But also, we have Matthew leaving the game with his real idol. I wish he had the opportunity to go back to his camp, give it to someone, whatever. They didn't let that happen. Idols, fake idols, but from the birdcage, so from production. We got Sarah, who's out of the game. We got Brandon, who, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but Brandon still holding on to his fake birdcage idol, right? He didn't do anything with that.
They haven't shown us what he's done with it, so you potentially could still have it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing Brandon still has that birdcage idol, and then Matthew has the one from Danny. Idols, fake that people made. People are also making fake idols this season. We got Josh with his own that fell apart. I won't count it as a full fake idol. It wasn't too well done. But then also we got Jamie, who has no reason to believe this idol's fake now. No one can tell her. This will be a great moment when it happens. We got idols that expired. Oh, guess what? Sometimes if you go on a journey, you get an idol for free. Just hang out. All these players. Josh got his. Jamie and Carson's are obviously expired, but those were idols that were in the game at some point. If you forgot, we also got an extra vote from Lauren from all the way back in episode 1. More of a bank of vote, so she didn't vote at that first tribal.
Love the bank of vote.
One. Yes.
Love the fact that they have to take a risk to earn the extra vote. So that was one that we can say that's a cool addition to the game, I think. Because you've got to kind of like risk your vote and know when you can risk your vote to get that reward, you know?
How do you feel about Matthew not having a vote? I don't like it. Yeah. 2 travels. So now he doesn't have one at this earn the merge kind of thing. That's not going to be fun. And he also has a fake idol. So that could go back to hurt him not having a vote and thinking he has a real idol. Oh, but don't worry. We're not done yet, everybody. We also have the inheritance advantage that's now gone, but 100% Jeff's going to throw it back into the game somewhere throughout the season. They want to do this again. Kind of like
the knowledge season. Is power of this season.
Hey, where's that at this season?
Exactly. That's everything.
Well, it's even more powerful. It's even more powerful than the knowledge is power, because the knowledge is power gives you only the opportunity to specifically target one person for an advantage that you know that they have. But with the inheritance advantage, if you're getting to a clutch point in the game where you're like, okay, well, there's 5 or 6 idols in the game or different advantages, and people are going to just start playing them like an advantage getting, and you play that, you whip that little inheritance advantage out, you end up getting all of it. So it's kind of it's an interesting twist. I don't like the knowledge is power either, but we know Jeff loves it. So the knowledge is power is coming back. So my question would be: do we see knowledge is power and the inheritance advantage come back this season?
Can the inheritance advantage take the knowledge is power if it's played at tribal?
Yeah. It can take everything.
So
anything that's played, you don't even need to like target anyone specifically. You just say, I'm playing the inheritance advantage at this tribal council before everybody votes. That's my understanding. So there is at least that you've got to take that risk on when you play it. But then anything that gets played on that specific round, you get it. It's like a boomerang. Or even if you've got an idol, this is the real powerful thing. If you've got an idol, you can boomerang it back to yourself. And you've got 2 idols in the game.
Yeah, didn't even think about that one. It's a lot. It's a little too much when you have more. It was one thing with the players making fake idols themselves, and I feel like it's refreshing having that this season. But when you have both players making them that are being believable, but then when you have production as well, it is a little too much when feels like more advantages in the game than players. It's a little too much. Let's talk merge boot. Earn the merge. Is it? I'm guessing that's going to be the same thing as Survivor 43. No lies, obviously, no hourglass. One tribe. Everyone's going to be going to tribal council together. But half the players will be safe, not able to vote, not able to be voted for, sorry, and the other half will be. That's my understanding of it, what we're going to be seeing. What's everyone's predictions here? Who will be? Let's throw out 2 names, 1 guy, 1 girl, just because half the people will be safe, half not. Who's people thinking going to be gutted here at this point in the game? I'll start with you, Alyssa.
Guy, Danny. Girl, Lauren.
Boom. Rachel.
I'll say Josh for men because he got a lot of screen time this week. For women,
There's not many left.
I know, yeah. I'll say Heidi. So we're not saying the same one, Alyssa.
Okay.
You can't copy me.
Flynn.
So I definitely think, again, that was forced round from last week. One of the alpha males of Josh, Danny, or Brandon are leaving this week. I personally think it's going to be Brandon. And I'm really I'll be shocked if it's a woman. If I had to choose, maybe Jamie. And like they're setting her up for a huge downfall for this merge. It can make it look embarrassing in front of everyone. So I'll be shocked if it's not one of the alpha males.
Even with we have the pictures right here. We had Lydia, we had Ellie, in Survivor 41. This was where Sydney went home, right? There's not as many girls left, but I have to think myself that it's going to be one of them sniped out here. Chris, what are your thoughts?
I don't think there's any chance that a woman's going next. I really, when I look at the table, the way it's set right now, I agree that Josh most likely is the person who's got the least people that's willing to fight for him in the game. Matt and Franny wasn't really close to him in the previous tribe. Yeah. Heidi said she didn't really have a good read on him. She didn't feel very connected to him emotionally in any way. And then I think Danny would like to keep him with Brandon if he could. But then again, you've now got Carolyn very aware that the Bro Alliance needs to be broken up. And I really think that it's either Josh or Brandon in the spot that probably is going to get targeted. And if we had to go for a woman, maybe Lauren, because I feel like Lauren is attached to Brandon, so it could still be a snipe at the alpha men without going after them directly. Those would be the people that I would think. And by the way, I was not ready to see Ellie's face up there. She was my winner pick last season, and it still hurts.
She was mine as well. Yeah. That hurts. I gotta say, it's so tough. I think you gotta take exit press with a grain of salt. I'm gonna say for myself, Lauren, just because from the sounds of things from Matthew, it was obviously Matthew and Lauren butting heads, and Lauren a little bit on the outs there on that tribe. And I'm playing the odds a bit. Women have always gone home at this point, so I'm gonna do that there. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of time to think of a spicy hot take you have on this season, something we've been ranting a lot, it feels like, for the past 51 minutes, but something deep down that you want to get out. As I'll go first, and this is my hot take, a bold take. I think if we continue down the 3 tribes for much longer, Survivor US will fail. Survivor US will go downhill eventually, and then I'm not going to say be removed off the air because I'm not going to put that bad energy out there. But I think we really need to reevaluate how these new era seasons are going, or else bad things will be happening. I'll keep talking myself for a few more seconds as I give you guys.
I've got one. I'll go.
Go.
I mean, you could take any of the first 50 minutes of me just ranting about the show, but I think, and this is one that I spoke to Peridium about yesterday actually, and I've got this feeling that Jeff is willing to take Survivor down with him. I don't think Jeff wants to have anybody else become the showrunner or host it. I think Jeff feels like he is Survivor at this point, and that is the reason why he's not listening to criticism or people. Like he's looking at it in the sense that even on his podcast he says, I only have maybe 1 or 2 people that I'll phone who aren't even like necessarily big fans of the show. They're not necessarily people who follow it's like people from other genres, or it's very interesting how he kind of insulates himself from any kind of feedback. And I wonder if it's time for Jeff to say, let's take some of the great minds of Survivor. Let's get Adam Klein on the show as someone that is a super fan of the show, someone who wanted to play an idol, what do you call it, at bloody Winners of War. Let's get some innovative players on the show as like a way to go back to them and say, how would you approach the game? What would you like to see? Even if he doesn't listen to us, the podcasters or the fans, that's okay. But get some people who actually are passionate about this game. He is passionate. I'm not questioning his passion for the show, because when you listen to the podcast, he clearly loves the show. But my hot take is, I feel like he is okay taking the show down with him before changing anything. And that saddens me, because I've got this love-hate relationship with Jeff, because I love Jeff because he's done it so long and he's a great host. But then this is part of me where I just feel like he's hell-bent on not listening to anybody else, and that his way or the highway is kind of the way that we're going to go with Survivor moving forward. So I agree with you. I think Survivor is in trouble in the coming seasons if they don't make changes.
I would fist fight Jeff. Just
You
like
could take him for sure. You could
do it.
You could take him.
Yeah.
Alyssa, give me a hot take here. Give me something spicy.
My hot take is that Survivor just needs to trust its casting more, because I feel like there have been so many great characters for the past 4 seasons, and the fact that like they're trying to do all of this like mess with advantages and idols and all of this other like bull, it's like, your players are great players. They're really entertaining to watch. And if you just let them play the game without trying to like throw 100 other things at them, you would be surprised by how good the game still is.
Because I want to say, Alyssa, you watch Australian Survivor as well, right?
I have watched some of it, yeah.
Some of it. Okay. Well, Survivor US, in my opinion, and I know I'm going to get some flack from the Australian Survivor fans that we have maybe listening to this, Survivor US craps all over Australian Survivor when it comes to casting, because Australian Survivor only has every season 4 to 5 players that they can give confessionals to because they're entertaining. The rest of them all become duds. Where Survivor US, if we're talking about a hot take, the casting is phenomenal. This last episode, like someone said,
yes.
Survivor's still fun. This last episode was so much fun. And guess what? There was no advantage. There was a sanctuary. There was character building, life at camp.
It was
just
fun
seeing people
because
play the
there
game.
was no advantage, because
Exactly.
like they had to bro
You
out.
gave the
instead of,
players
like,
time to, 100%.
I think we're all on the same page with these hot takes. I agree. Like, we need sort of the back to basics, maybe 90-minute episodes so we can see more of that relationship building, not like 20 minutes each episode. Oh, episode 1, idol cages. Episode 2, idol cages 2.0. Episode 3, oh, everyone makes a fake idol. And it's literally half the episode spent on these advantages. So I guess going off of that, something odd. I would say sometimes when Jeff is talking serious things, he's like smiling all of the time. Maybe that's just his face now, but like episode 1 with Bruce's medevac, this episode with Matthew's medevac, it like
I know.
seems like he enjoys people's pain. Like his little dimples are there, his sort of upturned cheeks, and I'm like, oh, I'm a little bit freaked out.
Is your hot take that Jeff has had too much Botox?
Maybe I'm a little bit freaked out from all of your smiling when this is a serious topic.
Flynn, hot take.
Yeah, I don't know how to follow that. Well, I thought we were gonna like do a hot take about the season, but it turned out to be like a general like hot take.
Do a hot take about the season. That works too.
Yeah, I guess I'll be the one to break it. I think I do think Josh is gonna be a big character this season. I know a lot of people think he could be merge boot, and he possibly can. If he's not merge boot, I think he's gonna be a big character again. Like I said, along with the Carson, the Jam Jams, and the freaking Carolines of the world. I think he got a little slow start. He's trying to pick up. The reason for that is because he's gonna either be the merge boot or big character this season.
And that kind of goes right into predictions, which we're doing next. So that's a perfect prediction that you think Josh will be that big lamb to lion character this season. A big prediction. What was mine? Oh, I think this second half of the season, this merge, we're going to be in store for some pretty awesome gameplay. We better with all the advantages we have. These fake idols stuff, jaw-dropping moments are going to be happening for the rest of the season. For most of the episodes, that's my prediction, just because Jeff hyped it up so much. When Jeff was hyping it up, he's going to be thinking about the later parts of the season, normally considered the more interesting parts. So he has that in his mind when he's trying to hype up the season. Fake idols are going to make for those great TV moments. And on top of that, we have good Survivor superfans who are knowledgeable in the game, but we also have a lot of super fans who are kind of crazy as well, right? These Jam characters, these Carolyn characters, players who are doing these outside of the box thinking that are going to have these awesome jaw-dropping moments for the rest of the season. Because honestly, we haven't had too many of those moments that Jeff was hyping up so far in this pre-merge of Survivor 44. That's my prediction. Chris.
Yeah, listen, it's so strange for me these days. I find myself with the new age of Survivor 44 and 41 onwards. It's just sit back and enjoy the ride. Let it play out. Understand that I've come to the conclusion that your favorite very rarely wins. That's why whenever Tony won, that was insane for me because he's my favorite player. And he was way before he came back for Winners of War. I never expected that to happen. And now I'm playing with house money from this point forward. So whatever happens, I'm all in. And like I said, I'll be here to talk about the show until the wheels come off. I hope it doesn't happen. I know we sounded a lot of doom and gloom. I love the show. I'm going to be here for 45, 46 onwards. My predictions for Survivor 44 going forward, you're right. Jeff hyped it up. So clearly, I think the twist that he's bringing into the game is going to have a massive effect on the game because he wants to feel like something he did worked out. It feels like a lot of things that he's done recently, even with the way that, you can throw the die in there and shot in the dark, you can potentially save yourself in the game. A lot of it kind of has fallen flat. So clearly the fake idols is going to fake someone out at some point, or it's going to get someone to vote further. Maybe it isn't someone playing the fake and being duped out, but maybe it's someone using the fake idol as a way to leverage votes in the future. And that creates the new strong alliance that takes over the game, which is going to be a moment for Jeff to go, haha, I told you guys. I know what I'm doing. This is why we need fake idols in the game. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think, but then Jeff will be right. I don't want Jeff to be right about these things, but it will be
brace yourself.
It'll be craziness. Yeah. And then I'll have to listen to that podcast afterwards. Jeff will be full of himself. Rachel, what's your nice prediction for the rest of the season moving forward?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of TV moments, whether fabricated from production or from the actual strategy without
Are you
any
saying Survivor's
advantages.
fake?
No, like manipulated by production, giving them all these fake idols here. So I feel like definitely a lot of those TV moments we'll see jaw-dropping moments because of all the advantages this season. I think for funsies, it would be interesting if they did like a merge birdcage idol at Tribal Council, like the Adam Klein idol, but now instead of, okay, it's at camp and you have to find the key, but it's at Tribal Council and you have to do something to get this idol in front of everyone. I think that could be interesting. It'd be a fun twist on the caged idol back at camp. And maybe we'll see a engagement by the end.
At the after show, like right after the season ends, you think that'd be amazing.
That would be skipping a couple of steps from just going out for dinner. Isn't that what they're talking about? Just going out for dinner when they get back?
Oh, so yeah, the Ethiopian food.
Alyssa, what are you thinking moving forward for the season?
I'm gonna say that Lauren is gonna be a major player and a major villain this season, and she's kind of been set up as, she's gotten quite a bit of negative content already. Nobody trusts her, but she does have some advantages. She does have some pull. So I would just love to see another really solid villain, just because I love a good villain. So
we need that. We need that.
Yeah, we need a good villain. And my second prediction, I have another one, is that someone is going to be saved by the freaking shot in the dark, and it's actually going to matter for once.
Yeah, that's the reason why I like the season. Why Jeff will like the season.
Yeah, the shot in the dark will actually work out. That'd be
actually
twice in one season, though. That'd be crazy.
Oh, yeah, I forget. Well, Jamie it worked, but she didn't need. I mean, I know she was in trouble, but she did obviously get any votes, so I don't know.
She didn't need it. Well,
yeah, it worked, but didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's been I think 9 shot in the darks taken now, so having 2 in one season come up wouldn't be that bad statistically.
I think it should be you have to walk up to Jeff's podium, actually roll a die. If you roll a 6, you're safe. That should be live. That'd be cool.
That would be better. From an audience perspective, it would be better to actually see it play out, because now we just got to trust that Jeff and them actually have the right scores.
Kind of things.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't trust a die either, because you can really easily weight those. So it's just which die do they give you? Do they give you the weighted 6 one?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. We were kind of gloom and doom for a lot of this stream. Don't worry. We're all crazy Survivor super fans. We love this show. so much. Well, most of us, Flynn Masters doesn't make Survivor content anymore. Maybe he doesn't like the show, but the rest of us, we make Survivor videos, recaps, podcasts every single week. We're obsessed with this show. We just criticize it because we know how good it can be and how good it used to be. I still like the show. I think we're going in the wrong direction. I want to end things on a positive note, though, which is why I want to end things with a favorite moment you had so far in the Survivor 44 pre-merge. I'll give you guys, like always, a little bit of time to think about your favorite moment. Try not to repeat them. Obviously, that might come up. I'm going to go a little bit on the recency kind of things. You got to go with the bro out moment, the sanctuary. Brandon and Danny completely broing out over each other, which that was super funny to see in and out of itself. But then when you have Carolyn there making that whole moment so perfect, that's the kind of stuff on Survivor that makes the show fun. The game playing is another amazing part of it, but we're getting away too much of those character interactions. That was old school classic Survivor, and I want to see more of that. That was a great moment in the show. Jeff, make that episode happen again in the future. If anyone's got their moment ready to go,
well, I don't have a moment, but I'll just say the casting of Carolyn is probably. I mean, what do you guys think? Is she the best casting choice of New Era?
You know, I love casting choices where when I go into the season, I'm like, what do we do here? Like, why is this person here? And that was Carolyn for me. Like the first episode, I was not in. I was like, she can't put one coherent sentence together. She's all over the place, you know. But episode 2 onwards, I was like, I get it. I get what they saw in her. She's amazing TV. She's good strategically. Like I think she is the best casting they've had in a minute. Like it's been a while since we've been looking for that. I thought Cody was going to be that next larger than life Philip Shepard, Coach Way type of like character, but no, Carolyn is that. Cody was a pretender compared to Carolyn in my mind.
Yeah, so that's definitely been the standout for me for 44 so far. I love every moment of her on screen and Jam on their relationship. Like I said, the 2 stars, and I don't know, sometimes I kind of prefer that. I know we talked about Australian Survivor earlier and their editing styles, how they kind of give all their confessionals to the main people. I don't know, because again, it is kind of cool to see with these larger than life people. Hey, give them the screen time, man. Like I'd much rather see and that's what made this episode great. I'd rather see people like Jam and Carolyn just absolutely put a smile on my face for an hour or so, as opposed to everyone talking about advantages. Hey, everyone's getting their confessionals, but like I don't know anything about these people. I'm not like connected to these people. That was a big thing for 43 last year for me. So and so yeah, I'm just super glad Carolyn, Jam, but especially Carolyn. I do think she is the best casting choice of this new era.
My fear would be that Survivor becomes. My fear would be like it becomes like Sequester, and it's like all of it's just strategy. There's no character moments, and I feel like that's where Jeff is driving the show at the moment, which I'm fearful of.
Is the chessboard gonna turn in anything? Are we gonna get an idol or an advantage from this chessboard? Kind of like that Adam Klein Winners at War. People have been speculating online so much. The pieces have been moving a little bit, or is it just?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't know that.
I just expect. I always expect Jeff not to do it. Like it's like we all want him to do something at Tribal Council, but he's like, no, I'm just not going to do it. But like, listen, I'd love to be pleasantly surprised. I'd love to.
The pieces have been moving though. Like maybe there's a story being told there or something. I don't know. We'll see. What else, guys? Your favorite moments, Chris?
I've got a moment. Kane, walking around, swinging the sword around, being a knight out there on the island. Kane is probably. Like he's like my spirit animal out there, He's like the person I like. I love. Yeah, I love him being geeky. I love him I've never played Dungeons and Dragons myself, but I do dabble in online role playing games, like with computer games and stuff like that. So I get the genre that he comes from. Like he's one of us, I really enjoy Kane. I think he's such a cool character, and seeing him, nearly break this prop when Jeff had to put it back in the shield. Clearly, Jeff loves it as well. So that's one of my favorite moments so far.
Nice. Alyssa?
I feel like this is another recency bias one. I've seen it mentioned in the chat, but Yam Yam calling out Josh's fake idol when he was like, aren't these the beads from Dreammail? And Josh is trying to be like, oh, no. And the beads like literally come apart in his hands. He's like, dude, why'd you pull apart my idol? And I'm like, Josh, you are not fooling anyone. So I loved that moment. That was a great character moment from this most recent episode.
And Rachel.
Yeah, I agree with Flynn. Anything Carolyn does, all of her mannerisms, all of her confessionals are just so funny. Her poop tooth fairy story was so funny. I think for Matt and Franny, their long rod jokes, I'm gonna start using that in real life. Just so inappropriate, and like you should not say that on national TV. Both of those stories, the poop and then the long rod, are a little bit TMI, but they're sort of funny.
And it's kind of crazy. All our points, Carolyn as a character, Kane with the shield, Jam with the beads, me liking the sanctuary. All these are not gameplay based. They're not advantage based. We're all loving the casting choices on Survivor. We all love the show at its core deep down. And I think the title of this video, Will It Fail? I think we still have the pieces of amazing Survivor. It's there. I just hope we can keep that going. It's
And
time
none
to
of
do
us
the
are
giveaway.
advocating.
I think it
None of
will
us
be
are
very
advocating for. I just want to say, none of us are advocating for taking advantages away, because that's what Jeff
No.
is. Every time people are like, "Oh, give us more character moments, less advantages," he's like, "No, we need it to make the game interesting." What we're advocating for is #balance. Give us balance to what you're doing. Don't bring all these advantages into the game. Give us a little bit of both. I like both. It's just we feel like we're getting hardly any character moments these days.
Someone
I do
clip
think
that
this
as well.
season will
That
be
was
better
great.
than 43 in the end. I like most people agree that 42 is better than 41. I do think when it's all said and done, 44 will go down as better than 43. That's maybe just wishful thinking, but I do
agree.
think.
It's low bar. Though.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, Russell, I know. I mean, I don't think people enjoyed 43 far more than 41.
43 was all right. Like I actually,
It was
to
all
be honest
right,
with you, I'm okay with the new shows. I just know we can do better. We can do better.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna get that this merge, hopefully.
We're high hopes.
Right.
Let's do this giveaway time. Amber, guys, come on. We got 45 people on the stream right now and only 11 entries. Do Amber in the chat and you'll be entered to do the draw. I'll get started in, I'll give it like 20 seconds. So go right now and do it. What else? What are you doing? You can win a puzzle, do some gaming. While we're waiting for people to do Amber in the chat, I'm doing a little deal right now on Idle Plays. Any orders from now until the start of next episode, use the code RussellMuscle25 at checkout, and you're going to get 25% off, which is super, super crazy deal. These puzzles have been a lot of fun to make, and it's awesome to see all the comments you guys have given back about them after you get them. So, all right, 15. I think that's good enough. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, draw. Boom. I hope I don't win.
Oh, I made my caps lock. I didn't know I'd be in there. I did as a joke. I wouldn't win.
Andrew Spellman, thank you so
Let's
much
go.
for entering. Boom. Everyone give Andrew a nice little thank you in the chat. Andrew, either message me in Discord or Instagram something, and I'll make sure to get the Haberdasher's problem to you as soon as I can. That is it. The Survivor 44 pre-merge special. Thank you all for doing this. We'll be doing more live streams throughout Survivor 44. And in the summer, we're all going to get together, just hang out, talk about Survivor. It'll be good. Everyone in chat, if you haven't already, like the video. Thank you for hanging out and chatting with us this whole time. The rest of the season, I got recaps coming. I'm trying to get ahead on doing like other edited videos. It's hard to get ahead on those. I also have some blindside shorts I'm going to be doing, talking about my favorite blindsides and doing like quick 60-second videos there. Flynn Masters, where can people find you, expect from you in the near future?
Yeah, like I said, going to continue on with this Hell's Kitchen content. I am still, like I said, I don't know when I'll get them out. I'll eventually get them out, but I am working on this background with my Survivor in Blank Minutes series. So whenever I get around to posting that, whenever there may be, expect that when it comes to Survivor. But yeah, shorts on Thursdays. Every once in a while, some new videos as well, and mostly a Hell's Kitchen video on Sunday.
Awesome. And Rachel Alyssa, Survivor Scholars, where can people find you and expect from you in the near future?
Yeah, you can find us over here on YouTube at Survivor Scholars. Alyssa and I do our weekly recaps, recapping the Survivor seasons. Sometimes we'll dabble into international Survivor seasons, as well as sometimes maybe talking about the challenge when Survivor is on hiatus. This summer, we're planning to do some more Survivor DIYs. So if you have any challenges that you think we should try at home, definitely let us know.
And Chris, the Nullified Take, living legend, just finished a podcast before coming on this podcast. I'm sure you have another one planned out for after this. What do you got planned in the future? Where can people find you?
Yeah, listen, if you're looking for content, come to the Nullified Take channel because I'm dropping about 7 or 8 videos a week at the moment. I'm covering Survivor 44. We're doing recaps on it. This week we're starting power rankings on it. I'm covering the Challenge World Championship. Come and find out why Danny McRae is now my new favorite reality TV star, because he is turning the Challenge House upside down as of this week. So, I mean, you've seen nothing with Danny on Survivor. You got to watch the challenge this latest season. It has been phenomenal. We're covering that on the channel. We're covering Australian Survivor. I've got plenty of off-season content coming on for Australian Survivor. I'm rewatching it from season 1. I'm going to be doing some of those rewatches live. So if you want to come and watch it with me, if you've never watched Australian Survivor, now is the time to get onto it. Follow the Nullified Take channel here on YouTube. You'll, believe me, even if you come there and roast me about my opinions, that's welcome as well. My chat roasts me all the time. I'm good with that. I love that. You know, the back and forth. That's kind of the love-hate relationship we have with each other over at the Nullified Take channel. And that's it.
That was amazing. And thank you all so much. I will see you in the next one. Peace.
Y'all.